the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
All right, welcome to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. OK, breaking right now. It's a shocking GB News exclusive, and it's revealed that the government has scuppered its chance to negotiate a grooming gang's deportations deal with the Pakistani government. It's leading gbnews.com as we speak. I'm going to reveal that story very shortly, but the eagle-eyed amongst you will be able to see a PIA plane there, and it looks as though our bargaining chip has gone, and it'll be landing at Heathrow probably 5 times a day for the foreseeable future. But meanwhile, thanks for saving us. Now we're going to sue you. The Daily Mail is leading with that story after letting thousands of Afghans come to the UK and keeping a lot of that very secret. Now, it looks like we're also going to let them sue us. So that's great, isn't it? Speaking of which...
This is crazy, man. This is outrageous, man.
The Labour Party is... well, on the brink of collapsing into all-out civil war might be a little bit strong, but Sir Keir Starmer suspends 4 Labour MPs. Why? What does it really mean? Plus...
that, for me, is perfect. Absolutely.
Well, it's the story that just won't end. As you can see, the Daily Mirror, for the umpteenth time, have decided that MasterChef is indeed a big thing. And they've gone with sous chef. Haha. Yes, he's set to take legal action over his sacking. That's the bloke who used to stand next to Greg Wallace. Anyway, joining me this evening, we have Labour councillor Sebastian Salak. We've also got businessman and activist Adam Brooks and GB News contributor and comedian Steve N. Allen. But first, let's get your news with Tatiana Sanchez.
Patrick, thank you. The top stories. Sir Keir Starmer says former Tory ministers have serious questions to answer about how the names of Afghans who worked with UK forces were exposed. Thousands of Afghan nationals being relocated to the UK after their names were accidentally leaked in 2022, but that leak was only discovered by the British military in August of 2023. A super injunction preventing the reporting of the mistake was imposed that year in an attempt to prevent the Taliban from finding out about the leak. That injunction was lifted yesterday. Sir Keir Starmer has suspended 4 Labour MPs over breaching party discipline. Rachel Maskell, Neil Duncan-Jordan, Brian Leishman and Chris Hinchcliffe have all had the party whip removed, meaning the MPs will sit as independents in the House of Commons. Senior Labour sources have not ruled out further MPs, including from earlier parliamentary intakes, being suspended. The move comes after 47 Labour MPs rebelled against the government's proposed cuts to welfare and forced ministers to water down their plans. Donald Trump addressed the Jeffrey Epstein files whilst meeting the Crown Prince of Bahrain at the White House today. The US president said people who believe the Epstein files are stupid, adding the credible files should be released. The president also denied that he plans to fire Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell, contradicting a senior White House official. Elsewhere, a nurse suspended after complaining about sharing a changing room with a transgender colleague has been cleared of gross misconduct. Sandy Peggy was accused of misgendering Dr Beth Upton and of patient care failings. However, a disciplinary panel found no evidence to support those claims. The decision came hours before her employment tribunal resumes in Dundee, where she's alleging harassment and victimisation. NHS Fife says no sanctions will be imposed, but the case has already cost the Health Board more than £200,000. The tribunal follows a Supreme Court ruling defining sex in law as biological. And a photograph of the Queen has been released to celebrate her 78th birthday. The picture of Queen Camilla was taken earlier this month in front of a meadow at her Wiltshire home, Raymil. It shows Her Majesty smiling in the sunshine, looking relaxed and leaning on a metal gate. She's wearing a turquoise dress in a Liberty fabric printed with a rainforest of toucans, lemurs and monkeys. And those are the latest headlines for now.
For the very latest GB News direct to your smartphone, sign up to News Alerts by scanning the QR code or go to gbnews.com/alerts.
Good evening. Let's do Thursday's front pages. So we start with The Sun. Afghans' £1 billion blunder compo. So, yeah, that's all the money that we appear to be set to give to Afghans that we've allowed to come and live here who are now going to sue us. So there we are. The Express, they failed to provide what might have helped. So the Express, of course, have decided to go in there on quite a powerful story that I'll reveal all the details of very, very shortly. We're also going to be talking about the Daily Mirror. Sous Chef, so they have decided to go off on MasterChef. This is day, I don't know, like 15, is it now, of MasterChef? So John Turode, who dared to stand next to Greg Wallace for a number of years, is now thinking of suing the BBC over his sacking. And part of me thinks, fair enough. We still don't know the word that he's alleged to have said 8 years ago in a pub that was so awful that it's only just come to light now and he doesn't remember. With respect, I do kind of think if you are going to get sacked and maybe be called a racist, we should probably, people should probably know what it is you said, really. I think that's like a courtesy, isn't it? Anyway, The Guardian, 4 MPs lose Labour whip as the Prime Minister attempts to reassert his grip on the party. We're going to be talking about that in a little bit more detail with the guest later on. What does this mean for the Labour Party? You know, is it a power move by Keir Starmer or is it, frankly, really not ideal when you've got a whopping great big majority to be biffing some of your MPs? We also go to the Eye. Reeves is blamed for UK inflation hike as national insurance rise hits food rise. Yeah, so this is really what it says on the tin. The bad economic news keeps coming for Rachel Reeves, and at what point is it all going to be laid at her door? The Daily Mail, same story really as The Sun. Quite a good headline this, though, I think. It's punchy. Thanks for saving us, now we'll sue you. And this is a story in 2 parts, really. It's the fact that we as a British country appear to have the words mug tattooed on our foreheads, but it is also about the legal profession. And, yeah, all right, maybe this is legal, what they're doing here now. Maybe they're going to test the law and maybe they will win. But morally speaking, you've got these ambulance-chasing lawyers. At what point do we try to do something about that? Can we do anything about it? Anyway, the Metro, new Maxwell appeal bid as Trump flips. Now, we're also going to be going into more detail on this with a guest as well. So we're now being told, I think, if I'm right in saying this, that the Epstein files just don't exist, that there isn't this little black book with a load of people's names in, and that it wasn't like transporting celebrity pedos to an island. But that's the opposite of what we have been told, and the opposite of what Trump said he would release. Bit of a mess, this. We'll talk about it. Anyway, The Telegraph, cabinet bid to halt Afghan airlift. There's a really, simperingly pathetic line in here, which is that they wanted to stop this move about importing the Afghans, but they gave into emotional blackmail. Well, grow a spine and maybe don't be so obsessed with British guilt, maybe, if you felt that strongly about it. No, own it, own it. Don't cower from it now. Anyway, we've got my wonderful panel with us this evening. Labour councillor Sebastian Saleh. We've also got businessman and activist Adam Brooks, GB News contributor and comedian and fan favourite Steve N. Allen. You're a fan favourite, Steve. The amount of messages I get about Steve's on, yeah.
Most of them are from me in different accounts.
Oh, I see. Well, we have got a big story for you that we are going to reveal now. So there you go. It's the breaking news, and it's on the screen now. You can be able to, if you go onto the GB News website, you'll see it's leading the way there. So, speaking for the Foreign Office and the Department for Transport, a government spokesperson said to GB News that they have made a decision about Pakistani international airlines being able to land back in Britain. But it's quite a big decision. And it means that we are now going to have the international airline of Pakistan allowed to fly back into Britain. It's had a 5-year ban. It was banned because we were concerned that they were helping with things like, terrorism and bringing things into Britain, all of this stuff. This was seen as the major bargaining chip when it comes to getting Pakistan to take back members of their rape gangs. People like Abdul Qari Rauf, who's one of the Rochdale ringleaders. He was scheduled for deportation more than 12 years ago now, shredded his Pakistani passport, so we would make him stateless if we wanted to deport him, so we can't do that. Despite not wanting to go and live back in Pakistan, he has now built a house back in Pakistan for his family to go on holidays to. But we were thinking that this would be a big bargaining chip for the Labour government here. Take back your rape gangs and we can give you, you know, your airline back in Britain. But no, it appears that that discussion was never had and is not going to be had. So, again, it seems like more fantastic negotiating skills here from this government. Steve, your initial reaction to this story?
It's amazing negotiation. They should write a book, The Art of Absolutely Messing Up the Deal. It's up there with what they did with unions. Let's do some negotiation with the unions. We'll agree your settlement and that's it, walk out the room before you get any promise about no more strikes. The idea of getting this sorted before you actually put your requirements on the table, it's unbelievable. The only thing to put it in context that makes it look slightly better, it's not like a Chagos where we give and then continue to pay for afterwards. That's the only thing that could have made this worse, to lose the deal and also have to pay for it. It's stunning. I don't know why they're managing to get it so wrong.
Yeah, so our copy here on GB News is this is a double-edged scandal. Not only is the Pakistani government refusing to accept the return of foreign nationals convicted of heinous crimes, but when convicted offenders flee to Pakistan before their trials, the authorities in Pakistan are then unwilling or unable to locate them. And we've decided to give them their airlines back.
Yeah, I think it's also worth mentioning one of the reasons that we hadn't put this airline back in business is because of questions over vetting of the pilots, which seems like a key thing to do if you're going to be flying over our airspace. Yeah. So it's a triple-edged sword.
So, yeah, it is actually, and that is a good point, because not only was there some accusations, I'm assuming at some point Pakistani International Airlines are going to deny, which was that they were up to some pretty dodgy stuff. Some of the dodgy stuff was that they didn't really have properly trained pilots. So, like, that's a problem, given that they're now going to be flying over Britain again. In fact, in one incident, 97 people died. So, Adam, this... I don't know. I find this beggars belief, really.
I think every world leader is going to be queuing up to negotiate with this country because we are idiots. Or it's deliberate and we're just trying to mess everything up on purpose, or the Labour government is, because this is scandalous. I mean, how many more asylum claims are we going to get with 3 or 4 flights flying in from Pakistan every day to Heathrow or Gatwick? You know, what's going to stop them getting a cheap ticket, coming here and saying we're oppressed in Pakistan? And it's going to happen, right? So why are we doing this?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because it's actually one of the aspects of this Afghan deal that we did secretly was that the Afghans were taken to Pakistan and then flown in from Pakistan, which is despite the fact that Pakistan has actually, in the meantime, then expelled a load of Afghans back to Afghanistan. But anyway, what do you make of this, Sebastian? The fact that it doesn't... This would have been, I would have thought, an obvious bargaining chip that the Labour Party could have used.
Genuine question, guys. Has everybody read the story to the end?
You've all read the whole story?
Yeah, why? What's wrong?
There's a line in here. It talks about the process being overseen by the UK Air Safety Committee. So that is the committee. It's independent of ministers who decide who should enter our airspace or not. And the last line says, and I'll read it out, GB News understands that ministers are not directly involved in the decision-making process of the UK Air Safety Committee. So this isn't a bargaining chip at all. Well, because ministers don't have any say over this.
Well, they will have some sort of say over...
Well, it says that they don't. GB News is reporting.
No, it says that ministers are not directly involved in the decision-making.
Exactly.
But our ministers in our parliament could stop an airline coming in if they wanted to.
The other aspect of this detail, which is that this is what's being claimed now, but Pakistani ministers brought up the Pakistani International Airlines with a face-to-face meeting with David Lammy, the Foreign Secretary, and then now this has happened, which implies, really, why can't we do that? Why can't David Lammy and co and the Labour government just do what everyone wants them to do, which is to say, OK, then if you want to land your aircraft back in Britain, then you have to take back some of your rapists?
Yeah, that's a really fair question, and I don't know the legal mechanism. Right. It seems to be because this committee is independent of ministers. So even if ministers wanted to do that...
Yeah, but I suppose then it's that question about who really runs Britain, isn't it? Because is it Is it the UK Air Safety Committee or is it the democratically elected British
You can't tell me that ministers or government ministers can't turn around and say we do not want Pakistani airlines coming in. You cannot tell me that.
Are you both calling for Labour ministers to be all-powerful? Because I'll take that in a heartbeat.
No, but if there were no links at all, then they wouldn't have raised the issue with David Lammy. So clearly
we don't know that they have. It says Whitehall sources.
To be fair, there is a lot of this. Well, we don't know that they have. If the Pakistani government is saying that they have, and Whitehall sources are saying that they have, now I think we kind of have to at some point believe that.
Sure, you can have the conversation. You don't need to have the negotiation. It's the bargaining chip that I'm bringing up that I think is.
OK, and I believe that asylum claims are going to go through the roof from Pakistan because of this.
Just on that, Sebastian. So do you think Pakistan should be taking back some of these grooming gang monsters?
Absolutely. If somebody breaks the law here and they're from abroad, they should go back. And Labour is going even further on this. At the moment, the law is if you are sentenced to a year or more. Labour is making that even stricter, and anybody who is sentenced from abroad is going to be put in front of the Home Office. So we're going further on this, and I think it's the right thing to do, because if you break the social contract, you should pay the punishment.
So on that, I mean, the question would be why haven't we done some kind of specific negotiation on this then?
And I think that's the thing. That's what we're saying. They should, even if you'll find that last sentence in the thing saying at the moment they're independent. I think what we're saying is they should get themselves involved and use this as a bargaining chip. Find a way to use it as a bargaining chip, because we'd agree on the ends, we're just not agreeing on the meat.
Well, there must be a reason, because this has been going on for ages. These guys went to prison in 2012, and so the Tories have been dealing this for over a decade. So there must be good reasons why that's not possible.
But there should have been a good reason to give the Chagos Islands away and then pay, but there wasn't good reason.
Well, it's because it's a military base that we need strategically, and we've seen how important that is.
We didn't have to abide by the international ruling court, so we could have just ignored it. So why did Labour then decide to cost us billions?
If you ignore international law, you trash your credibility globally. No. You do. Look at the countries that do it. It's Russia. It's all of the countries that we don't trust.
We ignore the ECHR on prisoner voting rights. Have we trashed our reputation?
I'm talking about international law here.
Right. So we can ignore certain laws from abroad and foreign courts, but we can't ignore others.
Well, it depends what you're a member of and what you're not a member of. If you want to be trusted...
Well, we're a member of the ECHR, but we ignore their ruling on prisoner voting.
Sure.
So why couldn't we do that before? That has no justification on UK law.
Well, it's to do with your international reputation. Do you want that to be maintained or not?
The judge that made the decision on the Chagos Islands was a Chinese judge, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, it was a Chinese judge, wasn't it? So it was a judge that was, which is, again, this is the kind of thing, like, we're taking advisory rulings from people who are potentially linked to the Chinese regime.
I was going to wait for the next loop round of that conversation before we join in a few times. Didn't know where to get back on.
There we go. OK, well, look, people will be able to make their own minds up, I suppose, as to whether or not this is a missed opportunity, but, you know, again, it just feels like one of these things, like, what are we really getting in return? You know, we do offer Pakistan quite a lot in terms of trade. We offer them a heck of a lot in terms of we are a country where a lot of Pakistani citizens come and live. Huge areas of Britain, where not even just huge parts of Pakistan, actually, a particular area of Pakistan in Mirpur. I mean, we have some MPs in this country lobbying for a new airport in Mirpur, and now we appear to be allowing them to land their airways back. Again, it just feels like we're not getting a lot in return here.
Yeah, they'll need to build more airports now. We're going to be have so many more flights going over there.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. It just seemed a little bit weird. Right, OK, let's whiz ourselves on, because I want to touch on the front of the Daily Mail, actually. I know we spoke about this on the previous show, but I'm keen to get your views, Steve. So, thanks for saving us. Now we'll sue you. Scandal takes bleakly predictable twist as ambulance-chasing lawyers cash in. It's the secret Afghan airlift. So, should we be allowing people to sue us? Do we have a choice when it comes to this, do you think?
Well, it feels like it should be one or the other, doesn't it? I mean, like, we, as a nation, made a mistake. One person made a mistake. We all clicked reply all before, but it's never gone this badly for me. I mean, managing to send an attachment, put a password on your spreadsheet, for the love of all that is good. It's so simple to do. But because of that mistake, look, I guess we had to do something. What was done, I'm not necessarily sure. It should have been super injunctioned up the wazoo to absolutely cover everything, which also included not letting people know they were on the list and therefore potentially at risk. So that's
a mess.
It's a huge mess. But now we're living in this world now where the lawyers have got involved. So I imagine we're all going to start to get texts and those automated calls. Have you been involved in a government cover-up and it wasn't your fault? It's going to be a nightmare.
Do we have too many human rights, do you think?
No. Which one do you want to take away?
I think the ability to sue for absolutely everything. I mean, it
Is
does
this a
seem...
human rights case,
It does seem... Well, it's kind of, isn't it, really? I mean, it's...
Well, we don't know what they're suing
They've got the
for,
human
so
right to be brought over, here.
Compensation.
Yeah, but for what? What is the effect?
OK, let's spin this round. If we allow them to... Well, if they sue us, then maybe if we agree to pay out on that, they waiver their rights to any welfare benefits in the future. So they can either have one or the other.
Well, they won't be eligible because they'll have 250,000 in their pocket.
If that's how it works, no, but if that's how it works, yeah, I'm not sure what the rules are when it comes to if you come into a lump sum, whether or not it affects.
Well, if you have savings, you don't. Yeah, the threshold is much lower.
I mean,
than this,
potentially. Now, the more I think about this, as much as I'm genuinely really opposed to it, just because of I think many people will look at it and go like, right, OK, we've given you like safe haven and a house and whatever else, and then OK, we're giving you the right to sue us. Yeah, I think that sticks in the craw a little bit, doesn't it? But then I suppose if the other side to that is that if they do get a one-off payment and then never are allowed to claim benefits, that maybe that's a net win. I don't know quite how that would work out over their lifetime.
It's the kick in the teeth for people that have got nothing in this country, and then suddenly these people will have £250,000 in their bank accounts. What a kick in the teeth.
Well, there we go. Again, we'll have to wait and see. We don't know if all these cases are going to be successful or not. It's just something that two national newspapers, The Sun and The Mail, have gone for. Now, this is in relation to the Pakistani International Airlines story and the fact that it does not appear that we've bothered to use as a bargaining chip when it comes to the grooming gang deportation. Speaking for the Foreign Office and the Department for Transport, a government spokeswoman has told GB News decisions on listing states and air carriers from the UK air safety list are an independent process overseen by the UK Air Safety Committee. Following close engagement with the Pakistan Civil Aviation Authority over several months, the committee has judged that necessary safety improvements have been made since its original decision and has decided to remove Pakistan and its air carriers from that list. So there we go. Right, coming up in just a moment.
This is crazy, man. This is outrageous, man.
And I'm going to be speaking to Tony Blair's former right-hand man about the brewing civil war in the Labour Party. Patrick Christys tonight, late edition.
Five hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates,
5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5.
You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah.
Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight on the
unpredictable.
What did she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace
Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News.
The People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
Allergy practitioner Dr. Claire Anyamasigwe joins us now. Good to see you this morning.
Very good.
Does the hot weather necessarily mean more pollen?
It does. It actually accelerates the issue. So you've got pollen from the trees, from the grass, you've got pollution, and now you've got the heat wave as well. So that concoction flares up the skin, especially around the nostrils. We're streaming, we're sniffling, we're itching our eyes. So for me, as an allergist, my practice is about advocating for plant-based antihistamines. So I think the prep starts the night before. You're washing the clothes that you've worn the night, during the day, so you're not bringing pollen into the home. You are eating quercetin-rich ingredients like leeks, garlic, kale. So you can make yourself a lovely soup. I would say use them together. If you are somebody that already eats quercetin-rich foods in your diet, you're doing a more plant-based diet, then you're ahead of the game. But if you're not and you've suddenly been hit this week, 26 Celsius is going higher every day. 16 million of us are suffering with hay fever. 3.4 million of that have hay fever and asthma. So for those sufferers, they're looking for a solution right now. I would combine the two. I would start changing my diet to match what I've suggested, and I would also do what your GP suggests.
Do any of these things, if you take them year in, year out, do they lessen do they have an impact over time and you become less reactive to pollen?
Yes, absolutely. And that's why I'm really advocating for children. If we can get parents watching this to start children with natural raw honey, so find out about your local beekeepers. you know, start spreading your natural jams.
GB News, the People's Channel.
This is Britain's newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
All right, welcome back. Well, it's on a couple of the national newspaper front pages, most notably The Guardian. Labour MPs Rachel Maskell, Neil Duncan-Jordan, Brian Leishman and Chris Hinchcliffe have been suspended by Sir Keir Starmer. Now, they are believed to have basically been, well, if you believe what the government line is, I suppose, kind of rabble-rousing and helping to lead certain rebellions. I can't use the word that was described, but they are not particularly well thought of behind the scenes, apparently. So I'm joined now by former political secretary to Tony Blair, John McTernan. John, pleasure to see you again. Thank you very much. So, do you think Keir Starmer's made the wrong decision here?
It's a terrible decision. It's petty, it's vindictive, and it's backed up by an unnamed advisor calling MPs, elected MPs, knobheads. And whoever said that should be found and sacked.
Yeah. You know what, I quite like the way you come out and said it. And because this programme is played again at 5 o'clock in the morning, John, I now am going to say sorry if you've woken up to that over your cornflakes. But anyway, that is what was said, so fair enough. Yeah, OK. I mean, if they were rabble-rousing or whipping up rebellions on things like welfare reform or on the winter fuel payment, which I'm at pains to stress the government appears to now be basically U-turning on, and a couple of other things, is this not just a natural thing, Keir Starmer asserting his authority?
They're being punished for supporting government policy. It's now government policy not to cut the winter fuel payment. It's now government policy not to cut disability benefits. So they're being suspended because they support government policy. It's backwards, completely backwards.
OK. I suppose he's not got the luxury that Tony Blair had, though, with you. Which I don't think Tony Blair lost Did Tony Blair lose a house? Was it 8 years or something before Tony Blair lost a vote in the House of Commons? Is that right?
Yeah, but we had 47 people voted against and 100 people abstained on the low payment benefit cut.
OK. OK, I mean, to be honest with you, it's just interesting to get your point of view on this, really, because it's like, well, I suppose from the angle that Keir Starmer will say is if they're rabble-rousing, then they need to be booted out. Is there a concern now that they will just go and join Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana in whatever that is? What? Oh. I think John McTernan's just walked off, apparently. Was it? OK. It's always a bit weird with John, isn't it? Something happens. I don't quite know what that was all about. I don't know if he's going to come back. OK, well, let's just move on then. I was kind of agreeing with him. There you go. Sorry, let's stick with this. This is John McTernan's bookshelf, right? So, John, I hope he's all right. He's not collapsed or something, has he? All right. So, we're going to leave that there. I hope John's all right. Yeah. Very strange behaviour. Seems to have just got up and walk off. But anyway...
when you got to go, you got to go.
Well, yeah. All right, well, let's move on. And there's a couple of other stories to talk about. Let's deal with the front of the Times. So the Times have decided to publish a report about... the number of patients, sadly, who died, they say, as a result of the junior doctors' strike. So they say, the front page of the Times, is walkouts by junior doctors led to the death of 5 patients. Well, Adam,
I believe, and I've said this for years, that healthcare workers should not have the right to strike. The police cannot strike. It costs lives. Doctors and healthcare workers knew what the wage or the rate of pay was when they studied. And what it would be. I believe they've got 29% over the last 3 years already, and they're going for another 20-odd% as well. That looks like greed to most people, even people on the left that I speak to. It's unreasonable, and now we're looking at people dying.
All right, sorry about this, guys. It's not really our fault. I think John McTernan might be back. John? John? You all right?
I'm back.
Yeah, where did you go, John?
I don't know, some glitch on my computer, I don't know.
OK, all right. OK, so just, yeah, all right, just, well, might as well, I'm actually just more intrigued to see whether or not you're still alive, actually, which is good that you are. So just finally, to round this off then, so are you concerned that they might go and join Jeremy Corbyn or Zara Sultana's new incarnation?
Look, I don't think Rachel Maskell will. It doesn't sound to me like Brian Leishman will either. They're not really the usual suspects in the sense that they are kind of radical rebels. They are people who speak their mind, and I just find... And in my time, New Labour had an image of machine discipline, message discipline, and all that, the Millbank tendency. But we allowed Jeremy Corbyn and John McDonnell to vote against the party nearly 300 times. And I think a bit of tolerance. If Labour's a broad church, you should be letting people say what they might say. What they think. There's a big majority. You can allow some flexibility.
All right, John, thank you very much. I will now let you go, all right? So it was good to see you. Take care, and thanks for giving us a cracking view of your bookshelf earlier as well. John McTurnan there, former right amongst Tony Blair. All right, well, he's alive, so that's nice, isn't it? Yeah, back to the junior doctors issue then, sorry. So it's a walkouts by junior doctors led to the deaths of 5 patients on the front page of the Times tomorrow. So, because we were always told, weren't we, that last time there were junior doctors walkouts, or now resident doctor walkouts, I think as they're called, that they didn't result in any deaths. Well, the Times appeared to have uncovered that it did, and that it probably shouldn't happen again.
Yes, and if you go through all the different cases, that's where they've listed the industrial action as part of it, like a contributing factor. So it's not like there's... Some of them try and weigh up the probability, the balance of probabilities, but it had an impact on the care that these people received. Now, 5 people are not a big number, but it's bigger than 0. And there must be a way to do this. Do you know, it's one of those things whenever there were paramedic, nurses or doctor strikes, you get the headlines without necessarily following through on this level of action. And it's always about the headlines, of course it is. And it was a successful one, but there must be a way of doing it without impacting lives. Take the people with you. The surveys are all saying now it's changed. People don't back this in the same way. And if you've got to win the nation over, you have to win the individual people over. So it doesn't look like greed. You've got to make it, reframe it.
You mentioned one of the cases there. I'll read one of them out. As a lady called Daphne, whose death was from sepsis, and it was found to be the result of neglect and, quotes, was more likely than not because of industrial action by the junior doctors. There's a few cases like this, 5 to be precise. Sebastian, where are you on this then? Would you support a fresh round of now resident doctors' walkouts, do you think?
I'll come down the middle on this one, because I do think doctors should have the right to strike. It's right that they have access to collective bargaining. But on this occasion, they've already had their pay rise. It was something that Labour got onto very quickly after coming into government, got that solved, got the doctors back out there. Remember how hard it was under the Tories to be able to see a doctor. Too early for them to be coming back, especially given the state of the economy. Wes Streeting has said that he's up for talking about reforming working conditions, reforming training. That's great. It's showing willingness from the government. But a pay rise, I think it's going to be a really tough one for these doctors to get hold of.
Yeah, it is. So would you make striking by doctors illegal, Adam?
I think that the police cannot strike for a reason, because there would be anarchy. And I think at one point there's going to be a nurse strike or a doctor strike that means dozens, if not hundreds of lives are lost. And we was told during COVID that one life, you save one life, that's all you need to do. Now, we need to go back to that sort of thinking, because this is unacceptable for me. They knew exactly what they was going to get paid.
Oh, all right. It is actually genuinely a very bumper news night of stories that, remarkably, we've not covered on the show before. So we've got the Epstein files still coming your way. So we're now being told that they don't exist. There's a latest line on that, which it's just bonkers, this Epstein files. And also, it is splitting the MAGA movement, this, which is quite an interesting thing to watch happen in America. But coming up, a BBC chief has tried to reassure staff over the Gaza documentary controversy, saying that the Hamas government is different to the military wing of Hamas. Very bizarre stuff. It's in one of tomorrow's newspapers. I'll give you all the latest in a sec. Stay tuned.
Hello again, very good evening to you. This is your Met Office weather update for GB News. Now, as we go through the rest of today, overnight and into tomorrow, we're going to see some wet weather pushing across western parts, and here there is the risk of some thunder. We've already had quite a bit of cloud and rain across the southwest today. That's because of a weather system that's pushing its way in, and it's going to continue to make its way northeastwards as we go through the next 24 hours. As a result, some hefty rain pushing across parts of Wales overnight, and some outbreaks of heavy, possibly thundery rain feeding in across Northern Ireland too. Further east, it's dry with clear skies, a few fog patches possible for some eastern parts of England, but for all, it is going to be a relatively warm night. Pretty warm indeed, actually, across the west. Most places seeing temperatures staying well in double figures. As we go through tomorrow morning then, a west-east split across many parts of England and Wales. Brighter, sunnier towards the east, more clouds, some wet weather towards the west. Across Northern Ireland, a fairly cloudy start and there could be some heavy bursts of rain around. Similar across the southwest of Scotland, but elsewhere across much of Scotland it's a fine sunny morning, albeit there will be a bit of low cloud affecting parts of Orkney and Shetland. Then as we go through the day, the cloud and outbreaks of rain feed a little bit further eastwards, but nonetheless, some eastern parts staying dry through much of the day and just turning a bit cloudier as we go into the afternoon. The heaviest rain will be towards the western parts of Northern Ireland. Risk of some intense thunderstorms here. Temperatures for all likely to be a degree or so higher than today, which means we could be looking at highs of around 28 or 29 Celsius in the southeast. Then looking ahead to Friday, and there will be some further showery rain on offer, most of it towards the northwest, but a few outbreaks will feed further south and east, although some southeastern parts probably avoiding all of it and staying dry with some decent bright sunny weather and temperatures even higher still. We could be looking in the low 30s. Fresher and wetter as we go through the weekend.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date. Or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
OK, so welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. We've been rattling through the front pages of the newspapers, but there's a story that's inside the Daily Telegraph that you will not have seen yet, and it is this. So let's learn about it together, shall we? The BBC's head of news has told staff the Hamas government is different to the military wing. So following the cancelling of a Gaza documentary, the Telegraph reported that Deborah Turnus tried to reassure staff, say, look, hey, I think it's really important that we are clear that Abdullah's father was a deputy agriculture minister and therefore was a member of the Hamas-run government, which is different to being part of the military wing of Hamas. Externally, it's often simplified that he was in Hamas, and I think that it's an important point of detail that we need to continually remind people of the difference. So the UK government makes no such distinction, though, and they say just Hamas is prescribed in its entirety. So the BBC said that Deborah Turnus was answering a question about how we describe the father of the narrator in our war zone film. She did not imply that Hamas are not a single terrorist organisation. Well, that's as clear as mud, isn't it? So there we go. Well, reading that, according to the Daily Telegraph, they are pretty sure that that lady thought that there was a difference, a distinction between the Hamas government and the Hamas military wing, and it's probably a bit more bad news for the Beavs.
Yeah, this from the people who probably wear Never Kiss a Tory T-shirts. Kind of, oh, if you're a slightly right-wing, I'm grouping you all together. But there's two types of Hamas, and we got the good one. That's we only ever employ from the good Hamas, is what she's effectively saying. None of that, I mean, look, she makes points that are technically true. Yeah, there's both, but both have bias. And I think the problem was with bias, isn't it? So it's not answered the question that people are posing.
It also just appears to me like maybe just don't say that at the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe like just the way the mood is at the minute and the way people feel, and it's like scandal after scandal. It just feels like the BBC keep putting their foot in it at the moment, I think. So.
It is such a tough job, isn't it, to be able to maintain that level of impartiality under that scrutiny. But you're right, they are getting it wrong. On this case, Glastonbury was very tricky. The MasterChef stuff is now playing out, and you know, we might talk about that as well.
Yeah.
But it feels like the scandal after scandal, and I won't make any friends from saying this on GB News, but I am a fan of a state broadcaster. I think it's really important that we have that news source in our country. It does come with a lot of responsibility, though, and this is where you see things start to get a little bit unwound.
Yeah, let's remember that the BBC has had to apologise, I think it's 17 or 18 times now, for its coverage of the Israel-Gaza conflict, because they always seem to side with Hamas rather than Israel, or they get it wrong. So they are getting things wrong a lot, and that's not acceptable for a state-run broadcaster that we fund via licence pay.
I do think they get criticised from both sides. On that debate and in general, they get attacked from the left and the right, and that's usually a sign that you're doing something right. But it is such a difficult, it's such a tense conflict. People have such strong feelings about it. I'm just glad it's not my job.
Yeah, for what? Yeah, I mean, so I suppose part of the point is it maybe speaks to the mindset of certain people higher up at the BBC. So if you've got this particular lady there who's the head of news, drawing a distinction, so it's really important that we keep making this point that the bloke who worked as the agriculture minister in Gaza, which, I mean, I don't know how much work that guy really did there, but Hamas, the agriculture minister for Hamas, that's different to the Hamas fighters. I just worry that that's the mindset there at the B.
Do you not think that, for me, it sounds like trying to come up with a solution to the accusation you're now facing? I'm not sure that was, there wouldn't have been an email about that before. That wouldn't have been in the press notes to go out with the thing. Like, don't worry, we only employed the son of the agriculture minister. I mean, as someone who makes most of his money through voiceovers, that annoys me. I mean, back in the day, it was you couldn't get a job because Scottish people had them all. But now, the son of a Hamas agriculture minister gets my work. It's flipping annoying.
As well, and will somebody think of the voiceover artist in all of this? That's it. But let's just rattle through. We've got time for one more in this segment, and it's Prince Harry. So this is the picture story that is on several newspapers. It is on the Telegraph. There's a picture of Prince Harry on the front of the Eye as well. I'm just seeing what else he's on, actually. There's a couple of them, isn't there? Anyway, so there's a big picture of Prince Harry, and he made an emotional pilgrimage to Angola today. And he's been walking, of course, in his late mother's footsteps as he sought to continue her legacy. The Duke of Sussex said that children should not have to fear playing outside. He was pictured walking through the country's largest minefield. It's exactly the picture's on the screen there. So it's a recreation, in a sense, of what his mother did. She did some fantastic work helping to clear landmines and draw attention to landmines and the plight that they can cause to everyone, but especially children in Angola. And it comes as he sent a team last week to reconcile with the King, but not Prince William. OK, so a couple of stories knocking about it. Adam, I mean, is this, for all of the criticisms, and I think have been, one of the more vocal people against Prince Harry, for all the criticism, this is good work, isn't it?
I want to see more stuff like this. This is good work. But I did think children should not fear going outside. Well, he's obviously never been to London and seeing what kids have to put up with on the streets, machete wars and whatever, But, no, this is good work from him.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan.
No. But, yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to have a negative opinion about trying to get rid of landmines in Angola.
Yeah, and more than anything, what an emotional moment for him as well.
Yeah.
We know how young he was when he lost his mother. Doing something like this is really going to bring it home for him. So regardless of what you think about the man, it's going to be a huge moment for him.
Yeah, I kind of wish... I think a bit like what we're both saying, really. I kind of just wish we'd seen a bit more of this from Prince Harry.
Yeah, I'm not going to be pro-landmine. If you want me to do the opposite opinion, I'm not going to come down on that.
I think this is one segment where we don't have to worry about Ofcom.
Yeah, I think it'll be all right.
I think this is all right.
Yeah, and do you know, I mean, the pictures do the work, don't they? It is raising the issue, and that's the job. That's what these royals. That's all they can do. They're effectively there for show. So raising issues is what you should do. Get out there and do this rather than worry about your jam production.
And look, I can speak as someone that lost my father. Throughout life, I've wanted to emulate and do different things that he's done, so I can put myself in his shoes here. That's something he'd probably get home and think, Mum, I hope you see that. So that's a nice thing.
Yeah,
that is a nice thing.
And just on the front of the Eye, there's a side-by-side of him and King Charles. Royal peace talks wobble. They say that, suspicion and distrust already threatens a reunion. From what little detail we have of this at the moment, and it is little detail, it appears as though there's been some attempts at reconciliation between a team representing Prince Harry and the King. They also appear to have not really bothered with William. him. Do we think that relationship's salvageable, Harry and the King?
Not for a long while. I think if ever you got your teams talking, well, that shows where the problem is. If you're not having a conversation yourself, if ever you need an intermediary to go between you and a family member, things ain't looking too good. So, no, I think it'll take a while if they've got a while left. I don't know.
And look, I don't want to say it, there are rumours out there from different journalists that the King may not have that long to live, you know, maybe a few years. So I would like to see a reconciliation there. I don't think any family should fall out and especially lose someone still at war, you know, internally.
Yeah, I mean, do you think there's still hope there for reconciliation?
I don't know, but you'd hope that they'd be able to be friends, wouldn't you? I'll never be optimist, and you know what it's like being estranged from a brother. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
And you'd hope they'd be able to come together with their father as well.
Yeah, I do hope. And, you know, we'll wait and see. It would be really interesting, wouldn't it? I do often wonder how quickly the public would take Harry back, whether it's like, you know, he's been a bit like the wayward son, quite literally, like the wayward son, you know, and then he comes back and maybe shows a little bit of contrition about something, and actually people are like,
She needs to stay away, Meghan. She's done.
Well, I think she probably wants to.
Yeah, but she's done.
Yeah.
The public, you speak to anyone, you know, and it's not a race thing because we celebrated her. Like, I threw a party in the pub when they got married. She just turned out not to be a very nice person, and she tried to split up the royal family. So, you know, I don't think the public will warm to her at all. But if Harry keeps doing things like this, maybe reconciles with the King, it is sort of salvageable with some of the public.
Yeah, it's not a race thing, it's an American thing. Bad track record. Royals don't marry Americans. Things don't have relationships with them. It doesn't pan out well.
There is form there. There is form for that. But anyway, right, OK, coming up, police officers at gay pride parades and a Brexit betrayal. And apparently they're two different stories, I think. Otherwise, that'd be really weird. But anyway, stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
There's the risk of some more heavy, thundery downpours affecting eastern parts of Europe as we go through the rest of this week. But across western areas towards the Canary Islands, Madeira, across much of Spain and Portugal, it's largely fine on Thursday. A decent amount of sunshine and feeling very warm or hot in that sunshine as well. Some showery rain likely across much of Italy, drier towards the south, but across parts of Greece, Turkey, there will be a fair few showers on offer. A drier theme for many through the end of the week.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
This is Britain's Newsroom, where your voice matters.
It's just astonishing. With expert analysis and honest opinion, we don't just keep you informed.
We bring you unique perspectives you won't see anywhere else.
Can't argue with any of that. When the news happens, it happens here.
On Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 a.m.
Only on GB News.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
no,
isn't it?
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akwe, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There, you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
All right, welcome back. It is Epstein list time, and it's on the front of the Metro. New Maxwell appeal, that's Ghislaine Maxwell, bid as Trump flips. So I'll give you a bit of detail on this. There's been a big U-turn on the Epstein files. Now, this was actually a big deal in the run up to the last election. There's a lot being made about the Epstein files and whether or not this is all going to be released, and the indication was that they were going to be released. So now, you've fallen for a hoax, the US president tells past fans. The family of sex trafficker socialite Ghislaine Maxwell have begun a new bid to free her because Donald Trump has trashed his own followers' claims that his officials botched the new investigation into her boyfriend Jeffrey Epstein's crimes. For years, the US president promised to release Epstein's list of high-profile clients, the alleged list, and now that's just not happening. And now we're being told that it doesn't really seem to exist. It's weird, isn't it?
It's very strange because his senior administration staff have been saying that this is coming out for months and months. So he's saying it's a hoax. He's basically saying that his own senior administration has fallen for a hoax. So I don't believe that. I believe there's something else at play. It's either a ploy to somehow get the Democrats to release more information because he needs the Democrats on side to release it through the Senate, I believe, or something like that. Or possibly he's found out that he's on it and he's trying to hide everything.
I'm not particular. I don't know. I don't have a particular horse in this race, to be fair. But when Elon Musk walked or quit or whatever happened there, he went nuclear on Twitter, didn't he? And said that Trump was on the Epstein list. The Truth Social post from President Trump was, their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past followers, supporters, have bought into this BS, hook, line and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson, probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for long years. What is going on?
This is finally a conspiracy theory you can enjoy. For so long, it's been... He's effectively used conspiracy theories for a different game. So now, no, of course people won't let this go. The core following you have love the idea of getting to the bottom of things. So you can't just go, no, there is no list. Because you're right, with Elon, with so many things, with people saying, oh, the list's on my desk, all of these things, so many, sightings of it, and suddenly it's not botched, it's not botched. Someone's decided to send... I mean, look, you stand more chance of reading a full list of people who are in Afghanistan if people email stuff out. That list is there. When will we finally get it?
I'll just add this detail, I'll come to you, Sebastian. So one of Donald Trump's closest allies in Congress has called on the US president to release the Epstein files. Clearly he thinks they exist. Mike Johnson, who's actually the Speaker of the US House of Representatives, has become the most high-profile figure to break with the president and demand his administration release everything on Epstein to the public. What do you make of this, Sebastian? Should we know about everything Epstein was?
I mean, you want to know, don't you? This is the big story that's been rumbling for so many years. It potentially involves so many important people. And let's put the kind of glamour of it, the excitement of it to a side. It's about something really, really serious. We need to know if somebody's on this list, who they are and what they've done. Interesting that this is going to drive a wedge between Trump and Vance as well. Vance has called for this list to come out. Let's see how that plays out. Musk actually tweeting in the last few minutes as well.
Bit of breaking news for you.
Yeah, there we go. Let me see if I can unlock my phone.
Musk's been on X, and he decided to chime in about the Epstein.
Yeah, here's what he says. He goes, "Wow, amazing that Epstein and then, in quotes, killed himself, and Ghislaine is in federal prison for a hoax. So he clearly doesn't buy any of this.
Yeah, and to be fair, those are very good points, aren't they? So yes. Right, well, that'll rumble on. Thank you very much, guys, by the way. I'm just going to give you another quick rattle-through of the papers that you will be seeing a lot more on The Breakfast Show. Telegraph, Cabinet bid to halt Afghan airlift. They said that they wanted to stop the Afghans, but, oh, gosh, they just gave in to their conscience. And The Times, Afghan leak intelligence was hidden from MPs, and they say that walkouts by junior doctors led to the deaths of 5 patients. The Guardian, 4 MPs lose the Labour whip as the PM attempts to reassert grip on party. The Sun, Afghans £1 billion blunder compo. This is us being sued, of course, by the Afghans that we helped. The Express, they failed to provide what might have helped. Oh, this is the Prevent scheme, isn't it? Failing the victims of the Southport atrocity and, of course, the David Amos. The Mirror, sous chef. This is a MasterChef story. Apparently, Tyrone is going to sue them. The Daily Mail, thanks for saving us. Now we'll sue you. It's those Afghans again, apparently getting legal help to sue the British government. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to you at home or wherever you are. I'll see you tomorrow at 9 p.m. Take care.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Hello again, very good evening to you. This is your Met Office weather update for GB News. Now, as we go through the rest of today, overnight and into tomorrow, we're going to see some wet weather pushing across western parts, and here there is the risk of some thunder. We've already had quite a bit of cloud and rain across the southwest today. That's because of a weather system that's pushing its way in, and it's going to continue to make its way northeastwards as we go through the next 24 hours. As a result, some hefty rain pushing across parts of Wales overnight, and some outbreaks of heavy, possibly thundery rain feeding in across Northern Ireland too. Further east, it's dry with clear skies, a few fog patches possible for some eastern parts of England, but for all, it is going to be a relatively warm night. Pretty warm indeed, actually, across the west. Most places seeing temperatures staying well in double figures. As we go through tomorrow morning then, a west-east split across many parts of England and Wales. Brighter, sunnier towards the east, more cloud, some wet weather towards the west. Across Northern Ireland, a fairly cloudy start, and there could be some heavy bursts of rain around. Similar across the southwest of Scotland, but elsewhere across much of Scotland, it's a fine, sunny morning, albeit there will be a bit of low cloud affecting parts of Orkney and Shetland. Then, as we go through the day, the cloud and outbreaks of rain feed a little bit further eastwards, but nonetheless, some eastern parts staying dry through much of the day and just turning a bit cloudier as we go into the afternoon. The heaviest rain will be towards the western parts of Northern Ireland. Risk of some intense thunderstorms here. Temperatures for all likely to be a degree or so higher than today, which means we could be looking at highs of around 28 or 29 Celsius in the southeast. Then looking ahead to Friday, and there will be some further showery rain on offer, most of it towards the northwest, but a few outbreaks will feed further south and east, although some southeastern parts probably avoiding all of it and staying dry with some decent bright sunny weather, and temperatures even higher still. We could be looking in the low 30s. Fresher and wetter as we go through the weekend.
Expect a warm